Welcome back to Car Future Wheelz. The camera creeps upward from the tarmac, revealing a glint of carbon fiber and the low, predatory front end of the 2026 Aston Martin DBX S. The lighting is moody, with the reflections of overhead studio lights dancing across the sharply defined bonnet lines. The voiceover leans in like a secret. This isn't just a luxury SUV broken bar, it's the world's most unapologetic statement on wheels. A quick cut reveals the LED daytime running lights igniting in a piercing signature shape. The grille dominates the shot, wider and more assertive than before, with a mesh pattern that looks like it was lifted straight from a supercar wind tunnel test. That grille isn't just for show, those openings feed the high-output V8 with the kind of air it needs to launch 2.5 tons from a standstill to highway speeds in barely the time it takes to take a breath. Slide the camera to the side profile, and the DBX S reveals its blend of sculpture and muscle. The stance is lower, wheels sitting tight in the arches, thanks to an adaptive air suspension that can drop the ride height for better aero or lift it to clear rougher terrain. The roofline flows gently toward the back like a grand tourer, not an upright SUV. Every curve is deliberate, as shoulder lines drawing the eye toward the subtly flared rear haunches. You notice the optional carbon roof glinting against the paint, cutting weight while adding that motorsport edge. The wheels at 23 inches, forged and ultra-light, are a statement all on their own, wrapped in performance tires that whisper track day more than grocery run. We drift to the back where the DBX S flexes its most aggressive detail, the quad-stacked exhaust tips, 2 on each side, vertically arranged like artillery barrels. The rear bumper integrates a sculpted diffuser designed to actually work at speed, not just look good. The taillights sweep outward like the final stroke of a calligrapher's brush, their lead glow hovering in the darkness. The rear hatch is framed by a subtle spoiler that manages to be both elegant and functional, pressing the back wheels into the road at triple-digit speeds. The rear view is where things take a turn toward the dramatic. The quad-stacked exhausts, vertically aligned, are unlike anything else on the market, an engineering challenge turned into a design triumph. Between them sits a carbon diffuser that's not just for looks, it channels air cleanly from underneath the vehicle, improving stability at the car's 193 mph top speed. The rear spoiler's angle has been tuned for maximum effect without creating unnecessary drag, and the taillights sweep gracefully across the width, leaving behind an unmistakable nighttime signature. Step inside, the scene shifts, and suddenly we're inside. A rich wave of Alcantara and semi-aniline leather fills the lens, every surface stitched and finished with an artisan's patience. The S embroidery on the seatbacks is subtle but lets you know you're in the top dog. The steering wheel is thick, leather-wrapped, and weighted just right in the hands, with tactile metal paddle shifters that make every gear change a satisfying event. The center console rises up with a sweep, placing controls perfectly within reach. The infotainment display floats in the middle, crystal sharp and responsive to touch, while the 12.3-inch digital driver cluster places a live performance readout right where your eyes naturally go. Toggle through the display modes and the theme changes from calm luxury to aggressive track-ready graphics. You can almost hear the hush when the door is close. Then a single button push fires up the V8. There's a moment of mechanical churn before the exhaust bark hits, deep and guttural. The Bowers Wilkins sound system, if you can resist listening to the engine, fills the cabin with studio-quality audio, the kind of clarity where you can hear every brush of a snare drum in a jazz track or every layered synth in an electronic anthem. Ambient lighting bathes the cabin in a soft glow, adjustable to match your mood or the exterior paint. The dashboard is minimalist but warm, with a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster ahead of the driver. The graphics are crisp and reconfigurable, offering everything from traditional gauges to a performance-focused track view with lap timers and G-force meters. The center stack is dominated by a wide touchscreen with Aston's latest infotainment system, a quick, intuitive, and paired with a 15-speaker Bowers Wilkins audio setup that could rival a dedicated listening room. The subwoofers are built into the seat structures themselves, letting you feel bass notes without distortion. Even the drive mode selector feels theatrical. Turning the knurled dial changes the entire personality of the car. Comfort mode softens the suspension, quiets the exhaust, and adjusts throttle mapping for smoothness. Switch to Sport or Sport Plus and the exhaust valves open wide. The gearbox becomes sharper, and the suspension hunkers down for serious driving. The road sequence begins. The rolling shots of the DBX S tearing through a mountain pass. Under the hood, the 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8 makes 717 horsepower and 664 pound-feet of torque. This isn't just a tuned version of the DBX 707's power plant, it's upgraded with tech drawn from the Valhalla's performance program, including revised turbochargers that spool faster and deliver a harder mid-range punch. The 9-speed wet clutch automatic shifts with lightning speed, holding gears when you're in Sport Plus and downshifting with a satisfying blip as you brake into corners. The all-wheel drive system sends more torque rearward under hard throttle, giving the DBX S a sports car's balance despite its size. On paper, the DBX S will get you from 0 to 60 in around 3 seconds flat, and the top speed pushes to 193 miles per hour. But the magic isn't just in the straight-line figure, it's in the way it dives into a curve with the kind of composure you don't expect from a vehicle with this much ground clearance. Adaptive dampers keep the body flat, torque vectoring sharpens the turn-in, and the steering communicates every grain of tarmac. Now, let's talk value, but value in Aston Martin language. The starting figure is in the neighborhood of $270,000. But that's before you enter the world of personalization. You can dive into a color palette that's as broad as your imagination, with hand-mixed paints, bespoke interior materials, and one-off detailing. The price ceiling? Well, if you spec it like a collector's piece with carbon packages, exclusive leathers, and commissioned finishes, you can push well past $300,000 without trying. The final scene rolls in a slow-motion shot of the DBX S pulling away from the camera, taillights glowing like molten metal against the dark. The voiceover drops the final words, "This is the SUV that doesn't compromise." It's a supercar's heart in a luxury shell, built for those who want it all and won't apologize for it. The 2026 Aston Martin DBX S, power, prestige, and presence in one breathtaking package. A beat of silence. Then, you've been watching Future Wheelz. If speed, style, and luxury set your pulse racing, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and tell us in the comments what beast you want to see next. Fade to black. Channel logo. The low rumble of that V8 still echoing as the video ends.